and then you allow the creation, the ability of genuine anti-Semitism to rear its ugly head. I mean, I see this in social media. I fight back all the time I can. People, Scott Ritter's an anti-free speech person. No, I just banned you because you're hating on Jews. Pick on Israel all you want. But the second I start hearing people say about Jews this, Jews that, Jew, boom, you're done. You're gone. It's not about Jews. It's about Zionism. And they're two distinct things. Even though the Zionists try to say, no, it's all one and the same. It's not. It's two distinct things. But the hatred that exists in the world today towards the Jewish people because of the Zionists is real. And it's a scary, scary time. I would not want to be a Jew anywhere in the world right now. And I would implore any nation that has a Jewish population to bend over backwards to guarantee them the right to continue to practice their faith the way they want to practice their faith. They should feel free and secure in the practice of their faith, no matter how bad the situation gets regarding the Zionist entity of Israel. Jews should never be persecuted because of that. It's a big challenge to the world today. It's a big challenge here in America. I'm seeing ironically, the people that are most in agreement with what I'm saying are Arabs, are Muslims, who are saying this isn't about Jews, but the Christians are turning this into, because you have a segment of evangelical Christian society that support Zionism, not Jews, Zionism, because it helped create the conditions for Armageddon, the rapture, the coming of the Messiah, and they think the end of the world's a great thing. So they're willing to take this down that extreme path. But you have others who bring up, the old blood libels, Jews killed Christ, and things of that nature. And you're starting to see this discussion taking place, and you're like, stop it, stop it. And then people come to me and they say, well, you're promoting it by having this dialogue that you're having about Zionism and all that. You're the problem. You're the one creating the conditions. And I'm like, no. Israel is a problem. Israel as a nation state is a problem. The world sees it as a problem. They see it as an apartheid state and a genocidal state. How do we resolve that issue? I'm not advocating for the end of Israel. I'm saying that is the inevitable outcome of the direction that Israel has taken itself down, that Benjamin Netanyahu has taken itself down. That's what's going to happen. Do I think it needs to happen? Yes. I think that you can't speak of peace in the Middle East until you speak of a one-state solution to the Palestinian problem. But that in no way should be conceived by anybody as anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, just the opposite. The end of this artificial entity known as the Zionist state of Israel provides the greatest security for the Jewish people and the Jewish faith in the world, because it eliminates this seed of hatred that's been sown and is growing. And again, we live in a very dangerous time. If I were a Jew, I would be scared, rightfully so.
The United States is offering a defense treaty to Saudi Arabia to just normalizing the relationship with Israel. And on the other side, they want Saudi Arabia just to distance itself from China, just not prohibiting Chinese bases in Saudi Arabia. When you look at this offer on the part of the United States, why does Saudi Arabia need a defense treaty in your opinion? Do they have any sort of enemy in that region? We know that they had some complications, some differences with Iran. And right now it doesn't seem that they have it anymore. It's not the best way possible, but they're getting along with each other right now. And is this all about the normalization of the relationship with Israel, or is it about something else? We know that Saudi Arabia recently has put a sentence in that agreement with Israel that they want to have a Palestinian state. That's why they trying to remove this part that Saudi Arabia added to the agreement, or what's the reason behind this defense treaty?
I think you got to understand that every nation is a consequence of its own history, meaning that we can sit here and look at things. Is there a reason for Saudi Arabia to be at odds with Iran? Is there, is it in Saudi Arabia's best interest to normalize with Israel? Da 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 da. And logically we could say, well, no, but then why are they doing it? Saudi Arabia, modern Saudi society, has as one of its foundational elements the agreement that was made between Roosevelt and King Saud back at the end of World War II. And that's evolved into a economic arrangement that, originally was about Aramco and America there, but then the Saudis, nationalized Aramco, became a Saudi money-making machine, but they needed American military support to back them up, protect them during the Cold War, protect them against regional threats, Iraq, Iran, etc. And then, the role that Saudi Arabia played there, and it's not just, it's not just as simple as talking about oil. We're talking about finances, the integration of, all this money that Saudi Arabia made, the empowerment of the princes. We can't ignore that. Yes, there's a king. Yes, there's a crown prince. There's a whole bunch of princes out there who have a say in this too, and they have a lot of money, and that money's out there in banks, and they've been buying influence in the West. It's like anything. If you invest heavily into something, it's very hard to get out of that investment. Even when the investment starts to sour, you keep saying, well, I hope it stays on. Saudi Arabia has been investing in the West for a long time. This transition to the East is happening because Saudi Arabia has become soured with the Western investment, but they can't just dump it overnight. That's impossible to do. And so Saudi Arabia will string the West along as necessary. I think a strategic decision has been made by Saudi Arabia. I mean, we know it has. They joined BRICS. And that's not a tactical decision. That's a strategic decision. They didn't renew the 50-year petrodollar agreement with the United States. That is a strategic decision. They're taking payments in non-dollar denominations. That's a strategic decision. But you can't, until these strategic decisions start creating, centers of gravity that are sustainable, until the economic relationships with Eurasia have evolved to the point that they can be done independent of whatever happens with the West. You can't just walk away from the West. And so when the United States, where a lot of Saudi money still is, and a lot of, politically, a lot of the princes have grown up flying to London, flying to the United States. They own property everywhere. You can't just hit the off switch on that. So when the United States says, hey, we want to sit down and talk to you about something, the Saudis have to say, yes, of course, come here, sit down, let's talk. Let's talk. Oh, yes, we think this is a grand idea, a wonderful thing. Of course, we have the caveat that there has to be a Palestinian state.